Today is an amazing day because it is the first time I get to talk to a true speaking expert, someone who speaks regularly, very regularly. And we get to ask him the number one question that most of you have. It's actually two questions. How do I get started as a professional speaker? And how do I find speaking opportunities? And to answer that for us today is Ken Miller. Ken Miller, first of all, is a joy. So let's just start there. I am totally fangirling over Ken Miller. One, for his kindness, his heart, his story, his speaking ability, his entrepreneurship, his mentorship ability, all of the above. Ken Miller is a dynamic trainer, speaker, author, and consultant. He is the president of Denali FSP LLC Consultants, where he leads transformative strategies in fundraising, empowering organizations and associations across sectors. He's also recognized for his dynamic speaking style. He engages audiences with a deep knowledge of business practices, leadership, and personal growth, ensuring participants leave equipped for impactful outcomes. If you want to hear from someone other than me, because you're like, okay, this Alea chick is cool, but does she really know what she's talking about? I promise, one, I do. And two, don't believe me? Take it from Ken. Listen to what Ken has to say about how to get started as a professional speaker. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to overcome communication and differentiation challenges by sharing radically authentic stories, you are in the right place. Listen in and learn how to stand in the power of your unique narrative to transform your personal life, business, and workplace culture. And now, your host, award-winning international speaker, strategic storytelling consultant, and Japanese whiskey lover, Ruby Coral's mom, Alea Harris.
Ken, thank you so much for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I love to hear that. You are the first guest that I get to talk to for season 5, which is all about storytelling and public speaking. And you told me that in your role as a mentor and an entrepreneur and a speaker and an author, the top number one question that people ask you is, how do I get started and how do I find speaking opportunities? Which I think is the number one question most people ask. So what is your best advice and your best response to that question?
2 questions. One, how do I get started? And the other one's, how do I find speaking gigs or speaking engagements? How do I get started? Have a dream, have a goal, have something that you want to share from the stage. That's how you get started. But you got to have that, because that's going to drive you, especially on some of the times that are maybe a little more shallow, or there's a dearth of engagements. Number 2, how to find engagements. That means that you would go to, usually it's going to be conferences and associations that are going to have events throughout the year. There are over 4,000 events, and they have both plenary / keynote speakers, and they also have breakouts. When you're first starting, you may have to go in as a breakout, but go there, learn it, understand how that industry works, the conference or event industry, and then move up to the keynote and plenaries.
I want to go back to something that you said, which I found very interesting and poignant. You said you have to know your why. You have to know what you're saying, especially when there is a dearth of opportunities to speak. Can you expand upon that a little bit more?
Yes. So one of the most important things, and one of the things I had to learn also, it's about the audience. It's about the audience. So yeah, you have a great story, but is it going to resonate with the audience that you're presenting to? Is it unique? It's not even so you. Is it different? Is it unusual? Does it have a wow moment? And we call it the wow moment when you're doing this conversation or this speech or this delivery. And then the other thing is, again, where are you coming from internally, spiritually, emotionally to be able to deliver this message? But so important is to understand your audience. And when you look at the conferences, you can go to their website, you can go to the event website, and you can understand a lot more about the audience. And then you will respond to what they call a request for proposal to speak with the pertinent information.
So then I ask you, what is your why? What do you do all of this for?
Great question. My why, very simply, and I'm going to keep it short. I was homeless for 20 years on the streets. And I mean, a street level crack addict. I'm also a 3-time convicted felon that spent years behind bars. I have been clean and sober for 20 years. That's enough of my life.
Congratulations.
I am in so much gratitude. I want to give back. And my specialty, my superpower is I can talk to truth. I can share. I have no secrets. I have no secrets. And then in the right atmosphere, in the right environment, I will share all of that truth. It's not a secret.
I have the adage, which I feel like I'm quoting myself, which is so odd, but it is my quote, and I'm quoting myself, which is that secrets don't help anyone. And I'm so glad that you said that you bring forth the truth, because if you kept your story a secret, you wouldn't, one, be able to be as successful as you are, and two, there's someone that's specifically looking to hear something from someone who looks and sounds just like you. When you speak to people from that story, from that why, what are 3 things that you hope your unique story does for that audience member?
Courage, probably number one. Courage, acceptance, acceptance that I'm a fallible human being. I'm still a child of God, but I'm fallible. So we have acceptance, we have courage, and then a lot of my story is about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a two-way street. It's very difficult to ask for forgiveness if you haven't given forgiveness. And so those are just 3.
I know that I'm sure that there's so many more, but when you're talking about courage, acceptance, and forgiveness, for me, I mean, I knew there was a reason why I had you on this show, Ken. We are so in line because that's how I teach people to become speakers. If you have something to say, but you're still living in the heart of the story, you haven't practiced the forgiveness that you need for yourself or for others, you don't have the courage to step out into the truth of your story, you will not be good on stage because you're going to stick to the boilerplate response that nobody wants to hear anymore. So what advice would you give to a brand new speaker who is struggling with courage, struggling with forgiveness, struggling to find their why? What should they do to dig into themselves to find those things that they need to get on that stage?
Well, you got to dig in. And I'm talking about intellectually, you have to dig in and look at experiences that you've had, good, bad, and indifferent, and try to understand what was my why at that time, that person. You're always looking at yourself as a third party. And once you've identified the why, because I know all my whys, believe me, I know all my whys, then we have to do what I would call the technique of, going on stage or being on stage. And so the courage, that's a real important one. The courage, I would say, is start small. Start small. Whether, it's Toastmasters or whether it's your family in the living room, start small. Give a 5-minute, a 7-minute talk, because that's what we're doing, a share, and then you'll get comfortable as the groups. And at a certain point, it doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter the size because it's my message. It's my truth, and I'm going to share it with you. And I believe it will be a value added to you, Mr. and Mrs. Audience.
I love the way you said that it doesn't really matter if there's one person in the audience or 1,000 people in the audience. It's my truth and I'm going to share it. And that is why I am on stage, is to deliver a message that only I can deliver. But let's be real here, Ken. You're a 3-time convicted felon, former crack addict, Black man in America.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on stage in front of, most likely at these conferences, if we're honest, a bunch of white people.
Yeah,
And I love me
all
some
white
white people, black people, love me some people. But there's a lot of imposter syndrome that could creep in for you to be on that stage. It's possible. Has that ever happened for you? And what have you done to say, to combat, well, who do I think I am, this 3-time convicted felon getting on stage talking to all these white people? What did you do to get over that?
Number one, prayer. Number one, prayer. Before I go on, you're in the green room or in the ready room, whatever you may want to call it. Two things I do is I do some speaking exercises, I do some breathing exercises, and I go into prayer and I go back to my why. Why are we going on here, Ken? What's the value added to the audience? And once I've done that, I'm good. I'm good. Because again, I'm giving to sometimes business owners, I'm giving to the corporate CEO, whoever the audience may be. I look at them as another just child of God. That's the way I look at them, as the audience. And I have a message where you're going to be entertained, you're going to laugh, you may cry, but I'm going to hopefully touch you and leave you with something coming out that's actionable and that's going to be a positive to you.
How did you find value in your message? Because I've never been a convicted felon and I've never been on drugs, but I've talked to several and many. And during that period, during the lowest period, often people feel worthless or low. And so you, I'm assuming, went on a journey where you went from the low to the high. And the way you present yourself now is such confidence, ease, and grace. It's a joy speaking with you. But I know better after hearing what you said that it wasn't always that way. So what did you do to feel that your story was valuable and worthy of being told from the stage in the first place?
Probably when I first told my story, and I was in a very safe environment. It was in the rooms of recovery. So I shared my story, and especially I shared the shame-based aspects of my story. And when I did that, and the reaction was so positive that I was like, wow, this resonates. And not only that, I'm here. I did it. I bent because, I wasn't sure if it was going to break me by sharing some of the things I shared. It didn't. And I have something of value. Then when I went into the corporate world or went into the association conference world and started sharing the same stories, I realized that many people have gone through the same things, and doesn't really matter. It's really the feelings behind what I did. It's the feelings behind a shame-based behavior. And I can go on, I'm not going to, but it's just, I made it easy. Find a safe environment. It could be your family. It could be, again, your Rotary group. It could be rooms of recovery, whatever it may be for your story and what you're trying to, and then move up and scale it.
I love that advice. The best way to not be an imposter is to not be an imposter, to do the thing, right? To get out and share your story. I think that is huge because I think people are looking to almost use internal work at a certain point in time to hide from getting out on stage. Well, no, I just need to do one more meditation. Oh, I just need to write one more journal entry. No, you need to get on the stage. You need to open up your mouth and share your story in order to feel capable of sharing your story. That's beautiful advice. But I know that every time you shared your story, it didn't go well. It couldn't have possibly gone well. So tell us about a moment when maybe you failed on stage, when you failed in sharing your story and what it taught you about storytelling and connection.
I've never failed. I'm not saying that from ego. I'm not saying it from hubris. Please understand what I'm getting ready to say. I have never failed to deliver the message. Where I've had difficulties is my slide deck would not come up, period.
Those
Period.
darn slide decks. There's,
Yeah.
I think, a ghost that gets inside of the computer sometimes. It worked just fine in your hotel room, didn't it?
Oh, it worked real fine when I sent them the slide deck and they told me they had the slide deck and they did not have the slide deck. And I didn't bring it because I told you told me to send it to you. And then where do you go? Do you break? Oh, I'm not going to do the presentation. I'm not going to share. Or do you go out there and your talk, especially your signature talk, And you go out there and you do that. And sometimes it's even better. I don't need a slide to represent who I am. It's a part of my story. It's a visual. Great. But really, it's coming from me. And they don't need to know. They don't need to know. And they don't know. But I know. And then what it does is when you have these bumps in the road, you come off feeling valued. I did that. I did that with or without the setback. When we talk about the comeback from the setback, I just came back, and I'm still a star in God's eyes.
I knew you were 2 sets away from getting a hallelujah and an
Woo!
amen out of me. This is why everybody that's listened to me for a while knows I mute when other people are talking because I be loud. And I was sitting, yes, that's right. And that's absolutely right. That's exactly what I tell people. The slide deck is not the presentation. They are there to see you. They are there to see you. Oh man, this is such a cool format for me, but it is a challenge because I am a chatterbox. But we are surprisingly at the end, and you have done your job impeccably well, sir, by giving great advice that I know that people can follow. But do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to leave people with? People, especially who are trying to become public speakers.
Yes, get a mentor. Join Black NSA if you're of color. Join NSA. Join your local chapter of National Speakers Association. It's a craft, folks. It's a craft. You got a great story. But if you don't have the delivery, if you don't know stagecraft, if you don't know inflection, if you don't know some of the heuristics of doing a good presentation, please learn the craft. And then you also need the support. Don't do this by yourself. Go to podcasts like Aaliyah's. I mean, go there, study them, listen to others. I'm not the font of all knowledge. I'm just a person who just wants the best for you. But that's number one. It's to get into and understand that if you're wanting to do this to get paid, and I'm talking about good pay, because you can
Real pay. We're
easily.
not talking about, you
I
can
ain't talking about
sell
10,000.
your book
We're
in the
talking about
back for $15.
100,000 plus.
Yeah.
You have to understand this is a business, because that's where, and again, you're just talking about the starting, but let's get through that
Well, no,
first
but
6
what
months.
were you about to say? Because that's what
Oh,
people I think miss is the business part. So go on, don't censor
oh,
yourself.
girl, you have to have me come on again. But I can talk to you about I get paid. I get paid. Okay. So, and many people I know get paid. The thing is it's a business. That means there's sales, there's marketing, there's a funnel, there's communications, there's relationship building, there's the batter. I'm going to tell you, go to My Speaker Leads, $20 for a month. It'll have 2,000. Okay. You'll get approximately 2,000 leads or places you can go, but you got to know how to work My Speaker Leads. Another one's called Conference Connections. Another great one from Speakertunity. And then there's the third one, which would be e-speakers. I'm just giving you the batter so you can bake your cake.
Shoot, we done baked the cake. We done decorated the cake. We're started a cake shop. I am so feeling blessed and excited for everything that just came out of your mouth. Thank you so much, Ken, for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast.
Very appreciative. If I can say one more thing, I just want to.
Of course you can. You're a
do it.
speaker. How dare I not let you
How
do
dare-
another thing?
and it is. It's literally a quick plug. And the plug is I have my first book coming out, and it's coming out March 15th. And it's called Finding Ken, a Black Man's Journey from the Ivy Leagues to Prison and Back Again. It's going to be phenomenal. I truly believe that. And if anybody wants to connect with me, LinkedIn, Ken Miller 84 is my handle. And that's all. That's the only thing I'm plugging. I want the book to be
promise I was going to ask you that. I was not going to
okay. I
leave
don't know.
hanging. He was like, we just talked about sales and marketing. What you not going to do up here is prevent me from getting people in my funnel. I would
Right.
never. I would
And
never.
okay. So then let me go another direction.
Okay.
Listen to this, audience. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe you have something to share. And I believe you have something that's on your heart, on your soul, that you need to get out. And there's people that need to hear it. That's more important. There's people that need to hear it from your voice. And I say this all the time. You talk about adages, I have one. Sing your song. Sing your song. I'm not country western.
I
And when I get
like
on
that.
stage, I'm not country western, but sing your song because you got a beautiful song to sing.
Well, all right now. Before Ken and I start like we are in Baptist church, we're having to end the recording, having too much fun in this 15-minute format, which, as y'all are seeing, is a little more than 15 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm learning and we're working on it. Thank you again so much, Ken, for joining us here today. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
So now you have it. Now you know what you need, your why. He told you some websites to get started to find speaking gigs. I would also recommend joining Spark the Stage because you know where to go, you know your why, but then like, what do you do with your hands and like, what exactly do you say and how do you craft a story? I can help you do all of that if you go to aleaharris.com/spark and join Spark the Stage. Spark the Stage is my 12-month, not 12-week, 12-month program where you have an on-demand course and you have me in group coaching and direct Slack access to walk you through step by step how to get on that stage and how to do really well on that stage. And guess what? It's not a membership. You don't have to pay every month. You pay once. So give me a call, schedule a call, go to aleaharris.com/spark. And we can talk so that you can do the things that Ken just told you to do. You can get on stage. You can shine on that stage. You can love being on that stage. And more importantly, you can tell the story that only you can tell to the people or person who is specifically needing you to tell it to change their lives and transform themselves into the people they believe deep down they know they can be. All right. Thanks for joining me here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. I love you. I'm so glad that you are here. And as always, my name is Alea Harris. This is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast, and I'm sending you lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.